Hi, agents. Al Perry here. Just wanted to give you a couple tips. We've been talking a little bit in the office about buyer agency and the importance in building value for yourself as a real estate agent with your buyers. We've been doing this for years with sellers. We've been sitting down, meeting with sellers, touring their house, going over our marketing strategy, talking about pricing for their home, talking about our fee as a brokerage, our fees as agents, and what that might look like for them, and hopefully building enough value so that they would hire us to market and sell their home. Well, the same is true for buyers. We got to start treating buyers with that same type of commodity type approach. Sit down, talk with the buyers. I like to call it a CTO appointment. Come into the office. But today, it doesn't have to be a physical visit to your office. Could be a meeting like this, a Zoom meeting or some sort of Google Meetup where you can meet with them and share with them some information that hopefully will build. Picture a phone call or some sort of internet inquiry. Looking to connect us with an agent. Connect the buyer with an agent. One of the things that we can do is suggest that they might get together to get to know each other a little bit better. And why that might be in the best interest for a buyer is, we can give you relevant data on any area that you're interested in so that you can kind of go into this approach as you start your search, and as you start any negotiation you may do with a seller. You can go in this with your eyes wide open, understanding the difference between facts and opinions. I'm a big fan of distinguishing between, a real estate agent's opinion and a real estate agent presenting some facts. There's a lot of information on the internet that's at buyers' fingertips, but a lot of that information is nowhere near as robust as information we have at our fingertips as members of the National Association of Realtors. And I'm going to share my screen here and just share with you what you can show a buyer. So I do share screen, and so this is. I'm in my share screen mode here. This is Realtors Property Resource. You may have heard of it. If you're a member of the National Association of Realtors, you have access to Realtors Property Resource. It's underutilized by our industry quite a bit. A lot of folks depend on the multiple listing service for data, but Realtors Property Resource packages the data from the MLS and puts it in the nice, robust information that we can present to sellers and buyers. One of the things for people who do use Realtors Property Resource here, and I'll get into this on another training, you can just pretty much pump in any address. Doesn't have to be in the MLS as an active listing or a sold listing, but you put any address in and it'll give you an evaluation on that address. Similar type of concept as, say, the Zestimate, except much better information, because most of the Zestimate information is based on public record data, whereas the realtor's information is based on MLS data, and there's many more points of information that goes into MLS data. Think about all the stuff that we know about houses when we sell them through the MLS. We know bedrooms, we know bathrooms, we know decks, we know finished basements, upgrades. We know all kinds of stuff. So there's many more data points that go into the RPR valuation. And then there's some adjustability to it as well that we can do as agents to use. So I'm not here specifically to talk about that, although that's a great place to go with a buyer as well. Hey, let's pick a property in the market that you're thinking about buying, and let's do the RPR report on it. Let's talk about it, and let's go over some of the data that we have on the property. But I'm here specifically to talk about research. So if you go in the research tab and you drop down to residential market trends, I can pick a zip code. So I'm going to pick right now 19145, just happens to be a zip code in Philadelphia, South Philadelphia. And this will tell me, just in the quick search, it'll tell me here. This is a great visual to share. Excuse me as I clear this off. This is just a great visual to go over with a buyer or seller for that matter. Right now, there's 3.95 months worth of inventory. So let's just call it 4 months of inventory. 4 months is considered a seller's market. Certainly not, we've seen some market recently where seller's market's way over here, where there's 1 month or even less than a month of inventory. But most economists agree that a 6-month inventory is a balanced inventory. So what that basically means is, if over the last, 6 months, 36 houses had sold, so that's about 6 houses per month are selling in a particular area, and there's 4 months of inventory. That means 6 houses per month, 4 months of inventory. There's about 24 houses on the market right now in that area. So that would be 4 months of inventory. We've seen some that have had a month or less than a month, and that's way over here in the seller's market. So if we're down here, the buyer's not going to get much respect in those transactions. You see, now we're moving back towards a balanced market, at least in this area. So not quite balanced, but sellers still kind of controlling the market, but buyers starting to have some ability to get back to the negotiation table potentially. You see things are listing to sold prices about 69, 96, practically 97% listing to sale price. Your median days on market 36, and your median sold price is about 300,000. So real good talking points. If you're going to be meeting with a buyer, you got to build value for yourself. And buyers typically don't have this much data on an area. So if they're interested in going to look at 19145, or maybe they're interested in the suburbs, maybe they're interested in Delaware County 19078, Ridley Park. Where's that at in Ridley Park? So much more of a seller's market here. 0.7 months of inventory. So we got less than 1 month worth of inventory. So if you're a seller in this market, you're loving life right now. Put your house on the market. You're going to get incredible amount of buyer interest. You're going to listing to sale ratio is over 100%. So most of the houses that are selling over the asking price. And they got 6 days median income, and median sale price is at 290,000. So again, really valuable data for a buyer to know that. A lot of buyers we're talking with today's August 10th, 2023, interest rates are higher. So a lot than they've been in the last 12 months. We've seen interest rates increase, and oftentimes buyers think because there's an interest rate increase, that must mean sale prices are going down. Certainly could have a correlation between the two. So you got to help the buyers understand what's going on in the neighborhood that they want. If they're thinking about this neighborhood, you see that whatever's happening with the interest rates isn't shifting demand. It isn't shifting the demand here. There's still a ton of demand in this area. So there's not going to be any relief in prices over here, for the time being. So go down here, just a little bit more data in here. There's a bunch of information. So here's how Ridley Park, or at least 19078 is the blue line. That's how it compares to Delaware County, which is the orange line. And then yellow line is Pennsylvania. And then this red line is the United States. So again, Delaware County, United States, Pennsylvania, Ridley Park. So you see Ridley Park actually just recently exceeded or met what Pennsylvania's average sale price or median sale price is. So pretty interesting information. Again, if I were a buyer in this area, I would love to know this, and this is at our fingertips. Again, new listings. How many new listings have come on the market? What's the median price per square foot? What's the median square foot living space? So again, great information. Active listings, pending listings. So this is great information. If it's pending, a lot of times people say, well, what's happening now? pending is the biggest indicator of now, because these are the most recent properties that went under contract with a buyer. So they haven't gone to settlement yet, so there's still a possibility transaction may fall through. We might not know all of the sales data until it settles, but at least right now we know that 7 properties in July in Ridley Park at 320 median sales price were put under contract with about 6 days on average median. 6 days median on the market, $176 a square foot. Again, great information for a buyer or a seller to know. So I want you to utilize these reports. You're the keeper of robust information. Utilize this so buyers and sellers appreciate it. If you want to get a buyer, you want to build value for yourself with a buyer or for a seller, give them valuable information. If I'm a buyer and I'm thinking about buying in your market, and you offered me a kind of a sit-down meeting, either in person, say at a real estate office, at a coffee shop, or you offered them an in-person meeting on Zoom or through Google Meet. What great information to go over with them. And now you start to become a trusted advisor for the buyer, and you're not giving your opinion, you're sharing fact, which is so much more powerful when you're sharing your facts, because then it's really telling the story that the buyer needs to hear. If the buyer is going to have success. And hopefully, when you build that type of relationship with a buyer, when it comes down to your fee and the discussion of what that might look like for a buyer, the buyer will see value in whatever that is. Buyer will pay you the price that you have set for yourself, assuming they see value. You have to look at it like an investment. If they look at it as a fee, you might be on the losing end of it. But if they look at it as an investment, bringing this real estate agent on board, this realtor on board with me is going to give me an investment, a return that can be measured here, I'll pay whatever it is. So good luck to you. Get those buyer contracts signed, and let's get rolling. Have a great day. Stop my share here.